The 2024 bundle has made a number of changes to sign standards and procedures in Articles 10 and 12. Let's take a look. First off, several small but important fixes to the sign code in Section 1010 were made. 1010.3.1, signs not subject to a permit, and 1010.3.2, signs subject to a zoning permit, were updated to make clear that the sign types in these sections do not count against the specific number of signs allowed by zone district standards in 1010.5 through 1010.20. In the industrial zone district sign standards, IMX 12 was added to the table as it had been left out previously. In downtown zone district sign standards, projecting signs were added as an allowed sign type subject to the provisions in 1010.16 and 1010.17. More on that in the next slide. Section 1010.16, covering the DGT, DAS 12+, DAS 20+, DCPVT, DCPVR, and DCPVC zone districts, and Section 1010.17, covering the DC, DTD, DLD, DCV, and DAS zone districts, now specifically apply to projecting signs. As we saw in the last slide, projecting signs are now an allowed sign type in all downtown zone districts, and the requirement for a comprehensive sign plan to allow them has been removed. Sections 1010.17.5, 6, and 7, which created requirements for design review committees, were removed due to non-existence of these committees. Compatibility requirements for projecting signs in zone districts covered by 1010.17, which were formerly a part of the design review committee requirements, were moved to section 1010.17 4A10. Next, section 1010.20, special provisions for signs in the civic center area, was revised to require review of all sign permits and comprehensive sign plans by the Downtown Design Advisory Board, who will make a recommendation to the zoning administrator. One of the most significant changes to the sign code is a revised process for establishing a comprehensive sign plan, or CSP. Section 1010.3.3, signs subject to a comprehensive sign plan, establishes the intent, applicability, and effect of a comprehensive sign plan, with the review and approval process detailed as a new zoning procedure in Section 12.4.15, Comprehensive Sign Plan Review Procedure. Provisions in 1010.3.3 for signs permitted by CSPs and flexibility provided by CSPs have been revised for clarity, but the previous standards have not been significantly changed. A new section in Division 12.4, Zoning Application and Review Procedures, has been established for the Comprehensive Sign Plan process. Section 12.4.15, Comprehensive Sign Plan Review Procedure, details procedural steps and the review process. The manager, all the owners of a given area, or 51% of the ownership of a given area with a signed petition, are eligible to apply for a comprehensive sign plan. Staff evaluates a CSP application and sends it to the planning board with a staff report and recommendation. However, please note that for CSP applications in DGT, DAS, DAS 12+, DAS 20+, DCPVT, DCPVR, and DCPVC, DC, DTD, DLD, and DCV zone districts, and in the Civic Center area defined in Section 1010.20, the Downtown Design Advisory Board holds a hearing and makes a recommendation to the zoning administrator in lieu of planning board. When the application involves a landmark district or property, Landmark determines compliance with landmark standards and reports their determination to the zoning administrator in addition to the required planning board process. The zoning administrator makes a final decision on CSP applications based on the review criteria in Section 12.4.5.3, which are detailed on the next slide, taking into account staff, planning board, advisory board, and landmark recommendations as appropriate. Comprehensive sign plan review criteria, which were moved to Section 12.4.5.3, are generally the same as before, with an additional criteria that CSP provisions should be aligned with zoning code standards for the applicable zone district, specifically including special provisions for downtown areas, as in sections 1010.16, 1010.17, and 1010.20. A new procedure has been added to allow for changes to an existing comprehensive sign plan in section 12.4.15.5. This section creates a standard for minor adjustments to an approved comprehensive sign plan, which can include changes to allowed sign locations or addition of new ones, reductions in allowed size and allowed location of signs, and clarifications or fixes to anything unclear or incorrect that don't significantly change the provisions of the CSP. These need to be approved by the zoning administrator, who can make a determination about what constitutes a minor adjustment for changes not specifically listed. Any requested changes that don't meet the minor adjustment standard need to go through the normal CSP process to approve a revision of an existing CSP. Another new procedure to repeal an existing CSP has also been added in section 12.4.15.6. A repeal of an existing CSP can be initiated by the same types of applicants that can apply for a CSP and can be approved by the zoning administrator if they find the repeal would not cause unmitigated adverse impacts in the surrounding area. If a CSP is repealed, regulation of signs goes back to the applicable sections of Division 1010, the sign code. Finally, notifications for CSP procedures have been aligned with standard notification procedures in section 12.3.4 public notice requirements. The new procedure to repeal an existing CSP requires an informational notice, but minor adjustments to CSPs do not require notification. Phew, that's all for changes to sign regulations in the bundle. Thanks for watching.